So the first time I met Kayla Garrison, she was in, I think it was my literary interpretation class. And so usually in my classes, especially the first day, I usually try to walk in right on time. I don't usually like to get there early. Well, I never like to get there early, but especially the first day I don't. And so I walked in and I remember seeing Kayla, and she was in the very front row in the very middle seat. She was lined up perfectly with the lectern. And, I took the roll and, we got into the class and she wrote down everything I said. She was taking the most, copious amounts of notes. And I remember thinking, like, she's taking so many notes on the first day. Who is this student? Who is this person? And so then as the class went on, she just brought this boss energy. That's the best way I know to describe it, boss energy. And she was so articulate, so thoughtful, and she just brought all of this, positivity to the space. And so I stayed after. I asked her to stay after class, and I said, "Oh, hi, Kayla, can you stay after?" And I wanted to talk to her about what her major was because, of course, I wanted to talk to her about English or women and gender studies. And she said, "Oh, I'm a high school student." So she had been running circles around everybody, including me, in the class, and she was a high school student.
What she's doing will be impactful long after she's gone. And not everyone can say that. She's outstanding because she's not doing it for recognition. She's doing it because that is her passion. She wants to make a difference. She knows these children should be able to have much longer, fulfilling lives. And she's doing all she can to make that happen. That, to me, is outstanding.
Honestly, it's hard to describe why Kayla would deserve this award. It's why wouldn't she deserve the award? She does so many things for so many people. Again, going back to that first time I met her, at the end of the semester, she gave me a book she had written. And again, I'm like, you're in high school, you've written a book, and she had written that book and she'd used that book, the proceeds from the book, for fundraising for the different medical organizations she was involved in. And so again, as a high schooler, she was already doing that work. But then when I saw her getting involved with nursing and how smart she is and her research, how intelligent she is with all of her scholarly work, and then now seeing what she's doing in the field, making a difference, working with the Mayo Clinic, all of the research that she has contributed to, but not to mention all the patients she has helped along the way. She's more than deserving of this award.
So this is to tell you how much I trust Kayla. Our youngest son played basketball, and he also has asthma, and he had an episode one night at a practice. And this was probably 6 years after Kayla had graduated from Lindsay Wilson. But she is the person I called whenever I went in to see our son and to figure out what do we need to do. And I wanted her guidance on what do you think we need to do for him. And of course, she answered her phone. She gave me great guidance. And we don't talk on a regular basis, but I know that I can reach out to her anytime, and that her care and concern spills over into anyone that needs her. And I'm so grateful for that.
Kayla, you just make us so proud, the Women and Gender Studies program, with all you've accomplished, with all the children and women that you help with your career. And we are so proud of you and all your accomplishments. Congratulations.
Please welcome the 2025 Outstanding Young Alumna, Kayla Jones.